All right, let's jump into another deep dive. Today, we are going to be looking at relationships
Okay.
through the lens of Reddit.
All right.
So we're going to be looking at a post on Rask Men Advice, and this is a post from a 33-year-old man
Okay.
who is at a crossroads in his relationship.
Right.
So his girlfriend of 2 years cheated on him during a trip
Mm-hmm.
and called
Oh.
him from the airport to break up with him.
Wow.
And she wanted a ride from the airport, too.
So this
It's pretty rough,
yeah, a story of betrayal.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
And Reddit did not hold back.
No.
They had over 300 comments on this post,
Oh, wow.
offering advice, opinions, and even sharing some of their own stories.
Yeah, it's such a relatable topic, right?
Yeah.
I think we all have either been there or know someone who has.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what I think is really interesting is that there was this near unanimous agreement that trust once broken is incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to rebuild.
Right.
Like a lot of people are saying, why even bother?
Yeah. It's almost like by staying in the relationship, you're saying, okay, well, you can break my trust, and I'll still be here.
Exactly. Yeah. You're setting a precedent that it's
Mhm.
okay. And this kind of leads into another point that a lot of commenters made about how taking a cheater back creates a really problematic power dynamic
Yeah.
because the cheater learns that they can essentially get away with it,
Right.
and then they're more likely to betray that trust again in the future.
It's almost like you are rewarding that bad behavior
Exactly.
by staying.
Yeah. It's tough love.
Yeah,
But I mean, a lot of truth in those comments.
definitely.
And so this poor guy, he even mentions in his post that he's 33 years old.
Right.
And he's scared to be alone at that age.
Right.
But so many Redditors pushed back on that and said, you know what? 33 is still young. You have plenty of time.
Right.
And settling for a bad relationship just because you're afraid of being alone will ultimately just lead to long-term unhappiness.
Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster. And actually, there's this really powerful anecdote from a woman who spent 12 years
Wow.
in relationships with cheating partners.
Mm-hmm.
And she ended up finding happiness after choosing to be single for a while.
Right.
And then ultimately found someone who valued her
Yeah.
and didn't cheat on her.
Right, because she respected herself enough to
Yes.
leave those situations and
Yeah.
find something better.
Yeah. And so her story really resonated with a lot of people
Of course.
because it really highlights that sometimes walking away is the bravest
Yes.
and ultimately the most rewarding decision that you can make.
Yeah, and I love that she shared that because
Yeah.
it's so inspiring.
Yeah, it really makes you think, is staying in this broken relationship,
Yeah,
even if it's familiar,
right.
actually better than facing the unknown?
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if the unknown is a little bit scary.
Yeah, I mean, that's a question that probably all of us face at some point, right, in
Yeah.
our lives.
Yeah.
And this Reddit thread really gives us a window into how people make those choices.
Yeah.
The advice that they give each other in their own experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. And so there's this one theory in particular that I found fascinating,
Okay.
and it's called the hit it and quit it theory.
Interesting.
And this is basically where a lot of the commenters speculated that the girlfriend might have tried to leave for the person that she cheated with,
Oh.
but then he wasn't interested in an actual relationship.
Oh.
So then she kind of had to crawl back to the original poster.
Wow. That's cold.
It's rough. Yeah. And so if that's actually the case,
Yeah.
then it kind of adds another layer of complexity to the situation.
Right.
Yeah, because it could mean that her actions were actually stemming from this deep-seated fear of being alone,
Mm-hmm.
which then led her to seek validation from someone else.
Yeah.
But then, ironically, that ended up making her feel even more isolated.
Right, because she lost both of them
Yes.
in the end.
So, it's a reminder that people sometimes don't cheat out of malice,
Oh, interesting.
but out of this desperate need to just feel wanted
Right.
or to escape their current situation.
Right, which of course doesn't excuse it,
No, absolutely not.
but it does
Yeah.
help us to maybe understand the psychology a little bit
Yeah,
better.
for sure. And this brings us to another really crucial point that was raised in the thread, which is this idea of self-respect.
Mm.
And a lot of people in the comments were urging the original poster to recognize his own worth
Yeah.
and that he deserves to be with someone who treats him with love and loyalty.
Yes, absolutely.
It was so easy to get lost
Right.
in that fear of being alone
Totally.
and forget what we deserve as individuals.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Reddit community really drove that point home.
Yeah, it's a good reminder for all of us, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And in an update, the guy did end up leaving his girlfriend.
Oh, good for him.
And he mentioned that his cat seemed really proud of him.
That's hilarious.
Oh,
I love
yeah.
that
Exactly.
little detail.
Good one.
Yeah. It's funny, but it kind of speaks to that bigger idea of
Yeah.
recognizing when a situation is no longer serving you and
Yeah.
having the courage to step away from it.
Exactly. And a lot of those Redditors, it seemed like they were really trying to empower him to do just that,
Right.
through sharing their own stories
Yeah.
and advice.
Yeah, it's like they're saying, hey, I know it's scary right now,
Yeah.
but you are capable of so much more.
Yeah.
You deserve happiness, and you're strong enough to go out and find it.
Yeah, definitely. And there were actually several commenters who had been through similar situations
Huh.
and they shared their own success stories.
Oh, wow.
Like one guy talked about how leaving a long-term partner, even though it was scary,
Right.
led him to eventually meet the love of his life.
Wow. So it worked out for the best.
Yeah, exactly. And another commenter shared about his current marriage, which is really successful,
Nice.
and he attributes that to mutual respect.
Right.
And this shared understanding that they are both okay being alone.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they need each other to survive.
Right. They're choosing to be together.
Exactly. And they're choosing to be together
Yeah.
because it's good for both of them.
Yeah.
And so it's really inspiring to hear those stories
Yeah.
because it shows that it's possible to find happiness even after going through something like betrayal.
Absolutely. And you know what I think is really interesting
Yeah.
is that we often seek advice from our friends and family.
Yeah.
But sometimes hearing it from strangers
Yeah.
can be even more impactful
For sure.
because they have this unbiased perspective.
Yeah, they don't have any emotional investment in the situation.
Right.
So they can offer a fresh perspective.
Exactly. And the fact that there were so many comments on this Reddit thread
Yeah.
just goes to show that a lot of people find comfort in knowing that they're not alone in their struggles.
Yeah. And going back to this idea of staying versus leaving.
Yeah.
Some people pointed out that even if he chose to forgive his girlfriend,
Right.
the relationship would probably still be damaged
Yeah.
beyond repair,
Oh, for sure.
Because it's one thing to forgive, but it's a whole other thing to forget.
Yeah.
And that betrayal could easily linger in the back of his mind
Absolutely.
and lead to resentment and suspicion.
Yeah. It's like you're always going to be second guessing
Right.
every little thing.
Yeah, it's like trying to put a puzzle back together.
Yeah.
After you've lost a few pieces,
Right.
you might be able to force it,
Mm-hmm.
but the picture's never going to look quite the same.
Exactly. And on her side, if she's not truly remorseful
Right.
and willing to do the work to rebuild that trust,
Yeah,
she might take his forgiveness for granted.
exactly.
And that could lead to a cycle of repeated betrayals.
Yeah, and that's just going to perpetuate
Right.
that unhealthy dynamic that we talked about earlier.
Totally.
So in a way, staying together could actually hurt both of them
Yeah.
in the long run.
For sure.
Yeah, it's a difficult situation
Yeah.
with no easy answers.
It is.
But this Reddit thread really does provide a valuable framework
Yeah.
for navigating these kinds of complexities.
Right.
It really encourages all of us to consider our values,
Yeah.
to prioritize our self-respect,
Absolutely.
and to recognize that sometimes the bravest choice
Mm-hmm.
is actually to walk away,
Totally.
even if it hurts.
I agree with you.
It also highlights how important it is to seek support,
Oh, absolutely.
whether it's from friends, family, or even a therapist.
Right. Having a support system is key.
Yeah, especially when you're going through something like this.
Totally.
I mean, this whole Reddit saga, from the initial betrayal to the man's decision and all of the advice that he got,
Right.
it's just such a powerful reminder that relationships are complicated.
They are.
You know, they require effort, open communication, and
Yeah.
respect for both yourself and your partner.
Yes, and sometimes, despite our best efforts, relationships just reach a breaking point.
Right.
And being able to recognize that
Yeah.
and having the courage to walk away even when it hurts
Yeah.
is a sign of strength.
Absolutely.
And it shows that you're committed to your own well-being.
Okay, so let's do a little recap
Okay.
of the key takeaways from this Reddit deep dive.
Sounds good.
So first and foremost, self-respect is so important.
Yes.
You deserve to be in a relationship where you feel valued, appreciated, and respected.
For sure.
Don't settle for anything less.
Right. And second, rebuilding trust after infidelity.
Yes.
It's incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
Even if you can forgive,
Right.
those scars can really linger.
Yeah, and they can undermine the whole foundation of the
First, it's
relationship.
worth it.
Yeah. And finally, it's okay to be alone.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's necessary to be alone
Mm-hmm.
so that you can truly understand yourself
Yes.
and your needs
Absolutely.
and what you want in a partner.
I love that.
So don't let the fear of being alone dictate your choices.
It's so true.
I mean, so much wisdom
I know.
from this one Reddit thread.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's pretty crazy.
How these insights can come from the most unexpected places.
Yeah, it really speaks to the power of shared experiences and that human need for connection.
Yeah, and even in the digital age,
Yeah.
we still find comfort in knowing that other people out there are going through the same things.
Yeah, definitely. And if you're enjoying these deep dives into the human experience,
Yeah.
where we dissect fascinating corners of the internet.
It's so fun.
I know, we love doing it.
I know we do.
Yeah.
Be sure to subscribe to Voices of the Soul.
Yes.
And hit that like button.
It really does help us.
It does
bring
too,
new people.
for sure. And for even more insightful explorations into relationships and self-discovery,
Yeah.
be sure to check out the Shauna Palaj YouTube channel.
Yeah, we have a ton of videos that dive deeper into these topics.
So before we sign off, I want to leave you with one final thought-provoking question.
Right.
If you were in this man's shoes, would you have taken your girlfriend back?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
Yeah.
And what factors would you consider in making that decision?
That's a really good question.
There are no easy answers.
Yeah.
And every situation is unique.
Yeah.
But by engaging in these conversations,
Yes.
reflecting on our own values and experiences,
Absolutely.
and listening to the wisdom of others,
Yeah,
we can equip ourselves to make the best choices for our lives.
I agree.
So until next time, keep those voices of the soul whispering wisdom and guidance.
Beautiful.
Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those hearts open
Yes.
to love, growth, and genuine connection.
Love that. See you in the next deep dive.
See ya.